Waterslide transfers, a lovely, effective way of adding a characterful touch to your miniatures. They can, however, be super frustrating to use, particularly if being used on an uneven surface. Well, today, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use these two awesome products to make this super simple. So for years I avoided using Waterslide transfers as much as possible. In the early days of my hobby journey, I got frustrated with not being able to get them to sit flat or getting them to apply properly on uneven surfaces. Trying to apply a transfer onto a Space Marine shoulder pad was borderline torturous. Well, after a long time of stubbornly refusing to use them, I managed to find a technique that actually made this really quite simple. And it was these two products that really made it click and made it work. So today I'm going to show you how to use these two products to make it super simple for you to apply those transfers. So as always, let's throw 2 minutes down on the clock and let's get to it. So for this method you'll need the following items: a suitable mini, micro salt and micro set, some clean water and some transfers. Now I'm going to be putting the transfer onto the banner on his back, so to prepare the area I'll give it a very light coating of Vallejo gloss varnish. This gives a nice smooth area for the transfer to adhere to. Now whilst the varnish is drying, I'll cut out the transfer I want with a craft knife, making sure to cut nice and close to the logo that I want, but just make sure you don't cut through it. To soften up the transfer, rather than having a saucer of water like many do, I prefer to use a wet piece of kitchen roll. Placing the transfer onto the kitchen roll and then adding more water, it will soak up the water and then the adhesive on the transfer will start to break down and it will separate from the backing. Whilst the water is doing its work, I'll then lay some micro set onto the area that the transfer is going to be placed. Using a soft brush, I'll then carefully apply the decal and move it into position. Now the transfer is in position, I'll use the brush and some more micro set to carefully work out any air bubbles or creases that may have formed. Be very careful when you're doing this and be quite gentle in your brush strokes so as not to dislodge the transfer from where it's sitting and to move it out of position again. The microset softens the backing that the logo is printed on, allowing it to settle on any uneven surfaces. On particularly uneven areas like a Space Marine shoulder pad, you may need to repeat this stage a few times. To finish smoothing this out, I'll then apply some micro sol on top of the transfer, and then using a cotton bud, I'll use careful rolling motions over the transfer to work out any remaining creases. Now as micro sol is a solvent, again it will be softening the material that the transfer is attached to. Now be careful not to push down too hard at this stage as the transfer itself will be quite soft and easily torn. Now to take that shine away from the transfer and make it blend into the surface, I'll give a coat of matte varnish and then we're all done. Now this is a method that takes a little bit of time and definitely involves a lot of patience. But it is super simple to actually do. It's very effective and trust me, it's much less stressful than trying to paint everything freehand. And hell, if it can persuade even me to use Waterslide decals, it must be good. Now whilst Waterslide decals can be used with just water, as the name would imply, I really do recommend that if you're using anything with uneven surfaces like Space Marine armour or Eldar vehicles, that you invest in the micro sol and micro set. They make it so much easier to actually be able to apply and to get it to wrap around the surfaces, and you can pick them up on eBay for maybe just a few pounds. Thanks for watching guys. If you got any value out of this, then please hit that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always guys, remember, if all else fails, spray it black and start again.